I'm joined by Candice Winterboer, the founder of Alfalfa Content Generator, a marketing solutions company based in South Africa, and Candice is currently in Switzerland. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Would you like to talk a little bit about Alfalfa?
Sure. So basically, Alfalfa writes online content like blogs and website copy and newsletters and even social media updates for companies and small businesses and agencies who don't have the manpower or the resources in-house to do it themselves.
So, give us an example of a company that would use your services.
So for example, one of my clients is a financial advisor and he has a blog. And while he's great with money, he's not so great writing content. Or he is, but he's busy all day advising people. None of his staff can really write content either. That's to the quality that he's looking for. So we write all his blog posts, we write his monthly newsletter, and we write some of his Twitter updates. So a company like that.
Your website's very, very easy to use. Like when you go on, if you're a customer needing content, or if you have a skill of writing content, it seems very easy if you're on either side of the spectrum to join your services. So you can either give a service or receive a service. It seems like quite a nice model.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from the client side, I had seen the gap in the market where people needed well-written, cost-effective online content. But then I also saw, obviously South Africa has a problem with unemployment. So people want part-time work. They want work that they can do after hours. And this is perfect. People have been freelancing in the copywriting world for a long time. So it just seemed like a no-brainer, actually.
Well, it seems like you've got a lot of experience and skill in the industry. So we're going to just ask you some questions about the general marketing online field out there. So how does social media, does social media change the way businesses are doing marketing now?
Well, I mean, you've got the angle where businesses are now more human. So, yeah, before you couldn't really access the brand or the business. It was the big brand out there and they were, like sending through their marketing messages.
That whole one-to-many marketing media platform.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other hand, it has opened up the channels of communication so much better. Just in terms of finding out if there's issues with your product. I mean, obviously, businesses think that this is also a problem because they don't want people saying negative things about them online. Except it really can help with product development, bettering your service, dealing with unhappy clients. Often the way you deal with an unhappy client on social media channels can build your reputation as a great service provider or brand or company.
And I mean, people, as you say, they get a bit worried about the fact that they can't control what's out there, but that's not true. You can actually really listen in on what's happening on social media.
Of course. I mean, it offers so many, not just the talking one-on-one, but as you say, also the monitoring and the seeing what's being said.
Because I mean, there are companies like Meltwater I know of that are really pushing the boundaries in that way, where you can actually go on, if you're part of their client system, and you can actually listen to very specific words and ideas that are being spoken about your industry and respond directly, which is great if you know how to write those things. But if you don't know how to write, it's great to have an easy to find website like yours to actually go on and get that content.
Exactly. I mean, before, with freelancers, often the perception is that it's too expensive from a business point of view. It's just too expensive to get somebody to write your content, but actually, with systems like we have, it works out quite cost effective.
So, I mean, I think companies are finding that they can operate all over the world. You're currently sitting in Switzerland. What are the challenges would you face as a business owner sitting in Switzerland at the moment, and your business is online? Do you face any challenges?
Well, when I first started the business, the whole aim was to make it mobile so that, I love to travel and I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. But you often don't think of some of the little speed bumps along the way when you do actually go overseas and try and work from there. Often it depends on the country that you're in, so language can be a bit of a barrier. I'm sitting in Switzerland, and the main language is German, French, and Italian. So while they may have English pages on their site or English versions of their site, it's not really a priority.
So you're really enjoying this interview right now because you're getting to speak English, whereas if you walk out the front door, you face to the whole.
Although I can't complain because a lot of German-speaking Swiss people do speak English, so I can't complain. But yeah, I mean, there's also different laws that govern business overseas. So the Swiss obviously are quite strict about business and how it gets run and how you give advice. Also, that depends on what industry you're in. So you've got to be careful you don't step on any toes. And then I guess this would also be dependent on the country you're in, is the perception of cost versus quality. So in my case, my cost is very low, but I offer a great quality. But Switzerland's used to paying very high prices for everything. So when I'm offering something of quality at a lower cost, there's always the question of, is it going to be of the quality I'm looking for?
Yeah. No, that is
so
definitely a challenge.
That's a bit of a barrier that you have to get over.
Now, you've been in this industry for a long time. What technology advances have you noticed over the years that have really changed the playing field?
Well, I mean, obviously, with the internet and being able to have an online company that you can operate from anywhere in the world, I mean, that's an advantage that, a lot of people can actually take advantage of. With no, you can basically have no borders now. You don't only have to work within your country or within your region. You can now, you can have a much wider market. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to test new ideas. It's easy to test new markets with the new technology that we have, with online advertising. You as a marketer who has a new idea, you can test it online before you even implement it just to see what the uptake is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you save money and you save face on failed marketing attempts.
And also it opens up the playing field for businesses that might not have had the capital to done mainstream advertising to actually have a much more interesting marketing campaign.
Of course. And it allows you to just be a lot more creative in the types of businesses that you offer.
And more innovative.
Exactly.
Yeah. So going down to a couple of tips for our viewers and readers out there. What tips would you have for businesses writing for the web?
I would say you've got to believe in what you do 100%, because a lot of the time you have to convince people that what you're doing is of value and of quality. And if you don't believe that what you're doing is good and will help their business, they're not gonna believe you. So you really do have to believe in what you do 100%.
And if you had to take those tips and give tips to businesses writing specifically for social media?
I would say educate yourself. I mean, there's not many courses around at the moment, but I mean, I know Get Smarter offers an online copywriting as well as a social media course. So you can educate yourself in exactly how these platforms work and how you're meant to be interacting on them.
It was quite interesting. We did the live update last night on the iPhone 6 launch and the watch launch. It was interesting looking at the social media around that and what trends were picked up. Did you follow that at all?
I didn't. No, no, I didn't.
It was fascinating because my editor sent me an email this morning about a scarf that someone who was demonstrating a game was wearing, and the scarf has gone viral now. So, I mean, Apple would not have seen that. I mean, when they planned this $1 million marketing launch, they would not have predicted that one guy's crazy scarf was going to actually be what everyone's talking about, not the watch, not the bigger
Exactly.
phone. Everyone's known.
But it's an example of what can happen, you know. You can only, as one person or as a marketer, you can only predict so many outcomes.
But that's what I'm saying here. In a way, with this whole Apple launch, everyone knew for probably the last 6 months that they were going to bring out two phones, a bigger phone and a normal sized phone, and they knew that they were going to bring out a watch, and they knew they were going to bring out a better operating system. All these things were known before the launch even took place, because that's how the internet works these days. Information is just going around a lot faster, leaks get spread a lot faster. So when it came to the actual presentation of the launch, people were looking for something new as a scarf around a guy's neck. And that's what the event was all about last night, a guy's scarf. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it still gets the coverage, you know?
But what does that mean for brands? I mean, if it's right at the top of Apple, what does it mean for brands that they have to be a little bit more going forward? They have to think differently about launches, because people already know what they're launching.
Exactly. And it forces companies to think outside the box and to be creative. And in my brain, or in my mind, to be human and to remember that they're marketing products, but to human beings who have a certain way of being and a certain way of acting.
Yeah. I mean, they ended the show off with a U2 song, and at the end of the song they said, okay, this album that they've launched is now free to every single Apple user. Millions upon millions of users are now getting that free album to their phone. In a way, what they were doing was saying, we know that everyone knows what we're launching. We're gonna give them something else as well, kind of thing. And so I think people have to think really differently about how they market their brands going forward.
Totally, and I mean, I had this conversation in another interview a couple of days ago. I think to sensationalize something is where a lot of brands and companies have been going. I think the trick is now you can't sensationalize something that people already know, this being a prime example. You actually have to do something that's original and that's worthwhile having.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, it feels like instead of the traditional launch of a product, you actually need some kind of conversation. So, I mean, the whole of social media is going crazy. There should have been thousands of Apple employees responding individually to every single tweet that was going out, and actually having a conversation with their audience. I mean, that's a big multinational company. You know, we're talking about small companies, but it's all these things trickle down, don't they?
Of course. I mean, that's how the job title community manager came around.
Yes.
You know, especially in these big corporations, you need somebody who manages what people are saying. Because, you know, as somebody commenting or saying something or looking for some kind of information on social media, I don't want some generic copy and paste answer. I want somebody to reply to me personally.
Yeah. In a way, it's not really managing, it's really just literally being part of the community. So your brand is part of the community, and you're honest, and you share the feelings and ideologies of that company.
Exactly. Well, because at the end of the day, as the brand, you should be living what these people aspire to. You know, that's the concept. So if you can't do it, or if you struggle to do it, then there's some problems and you need to fix them.
Well, Candice, thanks very much for spending time with us, and it was really great just getting some insights from your world in the world of marketing and online content generating.
Sure, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, cheers then.
Sure, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.